Greetings, y'all. This is Fashayo. I hope the full moon finds you abundantly blissful and happy and fulfilled. So I wanted to do this video about one of my favorite subjects, which is love. So I made a list of things I want to talk about because sometimes I get off on tangents because it's my favorite subject. So the first one, as you probably guessed, is I want to talk about is self-love. I'm going to try to keep it short, so I won't be super thorough on any topic, but I think a lot of this needs to be covered. So the first love, well, you know what, let me go with with self-love. You can't even really talk about self-love until you talk about self-preservation. Self-preservation, if you all are familiar with chakras or Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-preservation speaks to just wanting to protect yourself, understanding that, making sure that you have those things that you need to be fulfilled and well, holistically, that you have those things and that you understand that you're worthy of those things and that you don't deny yourself those things. It also means that you are not self-sacrificing. A lot of women have a lot of problems sacrificing themselves for the good of whoever, whether it be a boyfriend, husband, children, job, whatever. So self-preservation basically is almost like a way of acknowledging that I protect me even if you don't protect me. So once you have that down, and maybe I'll talk about that further in another video because it's a lot to that. That was a lesson that I had to learn over several years to get it fully to where I don't even have to question anymore. Now to self-love. Self-love is a foundational love. It means that I love me more than anybody else in the world. So a lot of you may feel like that sounds very, very selfish. I always say self-love, self-preservation is never selfish. And what does it look like? So when we talk about self-love, for one thing that was difficult for me was being able to compliment myself, doing nice things for me. Self-love means that I do things for myself that I would extend myself to. I would do for other people. So I was one of those people that felt like I should give everything away. It was this Christian song that used to make so much sense to me at one point. And it says, I give myself away. And it goes on and says, so you can use me. And people, and I remember myself included. I remember when I heard and I thought, oh, yes, that's such a wonderful song. I give myself away so God can use me. And there's some psychology behind that. One, I don't want to serve a God who wants to use me where it requires that I give myself away. Two, a lot of times because most people don't have a deep connection with God, they have a deep connection with whoever it is that they are getting their idea of God from, whether it be a pastor, a prophet, imam, babalawo, whatever. That's generally who you're going to actually end up giving yourself away to if you don't have these foundations down pat. The way that I manifested that before was when I was a single parent. I would literally tithe even when I didn't have the money to do so. And I just felt like this is what God wanted me to do. I guess maybe even back then that was my first step in self-love, was I stopped tithing. I didn't have it. And really that's not how the scripture goes, another video. But anyway, self-love also looks like embracing your journey the way your journey is. Doing the things that you need to do to be mentally, physically, and emotionally healthy, spiritually healthy. Doing things that just make you feel good. For instance, for me, this haircut makes me feel good. It is a part of what makes me feel good. My husband is not particularly in love with it. And I do care what he thinks. I want him to be attracted to me. I mean, because that's kind of, what you want. That's, But am I willing to give up something that makes me happy so that he can see me in a way that he feels is closer to what he wants? No, I'm not. When I look in the mirror, I feel really freaking cute. When, I get compliments about it, I feel really cute. The fact that my hair stands out, most of the time it's a standout kind of style. Yeah, I feel freaking fabulous. So I'm gonna keep this until I want to change it. Sometimes with more physical stuff, putting on makeup, like today I was going to dinner with my parents and my daughter, and I could have just thrown on some, some jeans and a t-shirt or something like that. But I wanted to put on my cute dress. It is so cute. My husband has told me like 3 or 4 times a day that it was cute. It's super feminine. It cost me like $2. And I put on stuff that makes me feel good. At the age of 37, almost 38, I finally figured out that I should wear stuff that makes me feel good. When I put it on, that makes me want to take pictures. That makes me sashay. You need to have those things for yourself. And not that fake nice cheerleader type feel good, where when you're broken inside you're just like, oh no, I'm great, I'm wonderful. That's not self-love or self-preservation, and it's disgusting. I cannot stand the way we're taught as women to be that way. Just because you're exhibiting self-love and self-preservation does not mean that you walk around with this fake cheerleader, nice girl thing going on. That's not what that means. Part of self-love and self-preservation is being authentic. It means being who you are. I can teach y'all this because I had to go through it. Not because I heard it somewhere and, I just picked it up as something to do. No, I had to earn this. Now, I did have somebody tell me this in the very beginning. I can't remember if the sister told me self-preservation or self-love was never selfish. I can't remember which one it was, but I was told it, and I remember at the time the way she taught it to me, I was like, that is the most selfish thing I've ever heard in my life. But it worked. I gave it a chance. I lived it. I cried and I, wrestled with it because my life depended on it. So self-love, spiritually. Self-love for me spiritually meant that I got off the beaten path. I was born and raised Christian. I gave myself the freedom to explore, to see how different religions or non-religions made me feel. What kind of person did I become when I practiced? What kind of people was I surrounded by? How did I live out the methodologies? How did they look when I interacted with my family? Well, on that note, I'm still not doing anything that can be categorized necessarily. Sometimes I do miss having that kind of congregation type thing, like where you gather together with people. But I like being able to be free to do what feels right. This has helped me be able to tap into my intuition. Lately, I've even started to get my dreams back. It's been really cool. So my, loving myself meant getting back into tapping into that wise woman and wild woman wisdom that I know I have, but that being in a religion that did not accept that in me, it stomped it out, and now I'm getting it back, mentally, for me, it has meant being challenging everything. Like, I used to have a shirt that said question everything. I used to love to wear it to church. That's all it said. And one of the main people who taught me that is my friend Nina. I don't even know if she has any hard, fast rules, but she was the one who taught me question it. Like, why do you do that? Or she'll just, it could be something like a simple challenge on Facebook, and she's not gonna do it the way the challenge goes. Not even being contrary, but just a constant thinking outside the box, seeing how I can do this in a way that makes sense for me. And that's, as women, a lot of times we're taught to be nice, to be obedient, to be subservient, to be, and see, by being nice, it means don't color outside the lines, don't do anything that's not following the rules, do everything in a way that's acceptable, and we're even told by people how to dress, what to wear, how to talk, what to say, don't curse, don't drink, don't smoke, don't do any of those things, because that's not ladylike. Well, let me explain something to you. I can't say that you should do any of those things in excess. However, every now and again, or wherever you deem necessary, and if you're doing it from a place of authenticity, knock yourself out. Wild women do as they please. So mentally, think broadly and widely, think fearlessly, really be present, feel where you are. When somebody tells you something that's true, quote fingers true, I found it just ain't a lot of stuff that's true, meaning cannot be refuted, meaning can never be disproven. It's just not a lot of stuff that's true across the board. It may be true for you, but it doesn't mean it's true for me. It may work for you, but it doesn't mean it works for me. And just because it doesn't work for me doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means that it doesn't work for me. It's that simple. So, okay, so I'm gonna move on because I'm at 11 minutes. So, romantic love. Okay, so this is a doozy. The first thing is, I thought about something tonight because I heard some song come on the radio and it was talking about good women being hard to find. I heard somebody say good men are hard to find. So the first thing is, stop saying that crap. I have literally never had that problem once I stopped saying it. You'll have what you say. This crap about there being a shortage of men, a shortage of women, a shortage of good men, a shortage of good women, is teaching people to settle. Now, do I believe in the whole butterflies in your stomach, y'all just in love all the time kind of love? I'm gonna be honest with you, no. Love is a choice that I make every single morning when I wake up beside my husband. Love is a choice he makes every single day when he wake up beside me. There have been times in our relationship that I wanted to commit violent acts against him, but I chose otherwise most of the time. But love is a decision. And sometimes love takes different forms. It doesn't always mean giving him what he wants, and it doesn't always mean him giving me what I want. It just simply means that you do the best that you can for that person while not sacrificing yourself. Romantic love also is a foundation for family love, but self-love is a foundation for relationship love. So that's why we're doing them in this order. In relationships, you also want to make sure that you're able to give that person their space to be them. Relationship love does not mean that because we're married or we're committed or we're partners or whatever you've decided to however you decide to describe your relationship, it does not mean that you now get to control that person. I am a deep and adamant believer in autonomy. I am doggone near a worshiper of autonomy. I believe that we are self-governing, or you should be. Well, I don't like to say should, but I would suggest it, being self-governing, especially if you are a woman, because we have so many rules made for us, but they're not made for us by us. They're usually rules that are made to keep us under control. And that's not something I'm an advocate of, is women being under control. So in a romantic relationship, for instance, when I was going through my religious explorations, my husband told me later, he was like, he would look at me and be like, she is going to hell. She has lost her mind, And I never tried to make him go with me. I I would explain to him what I was doing, even though I know it wasn't going to make any sense. I wanted him to feel included simply because I didn't want him to be more fearful than necessary, even though fear wasn't necessary at all. But I feel like knowledge combats fear. And what it did for him, what he told me later, is it opened him up because he never considered questioning anything. So that was how that looked for us. Now on the other side, my first husband was extremely controlling. And understand, I let him control me, but I was doing what I knew how to do. You know, I grew up with a whole lot of, daddy issues and whatnot. So I did what I thought I was supposed to do. That's why supposed to do and shoulds and all that, they're so dangerous. But he was very controlling. And I brought some of that into my current marriage, in the beginning, like, with the, well, what do you think? Do you think I should do? And he's like, I don't really care what you do, particular areas. So basically, when it comes to relationship love, just love. Love should look like freedom. I saw something similar to that on a meme the other day. Or love should feel like freedom. That's what it should feel like. Should. That's what I would suggest that you seek. Because that's part of what I deeply enjoy about my husband in this relationship is that I'm free. I'm here, and he knows that I'm here because I choose to be here. I don't feel obligated to be here. I've even told him, because I've been divorced before, I'm not scared of divorce. Divorce court does not scare me one single bit. So he knows for a fact that I'm here because I choose to. Because I choose every day to love him. I choose every day to stay in this house. I choose him. And that's what makes it more powerful, is that I'm not here under duress. I'm not here because of financial difficulty. I can't leave or anything. I choose to be here. And there's a power in being chosen and in choosing. So I think that's about it for that part. I will say this too. As far as relationships are concerned, and I know this isn't going to be popular with a lot of people, if somebody is being loved by somebody of another race or same sex or whatever, if they're not asking you to join in whatever their party is, why do you care? Listen, especially with women, I need y'all to hear me here. Go where you are honored. Don't let these people sit here and tell you that you need to stick with a certain type of man, and that you need to stick with a certain type of group, or that you need to stick with a particular sex. If you are honored there, go there. Because you're going to sit there and be lonely and miserable and hurt for the rest of your life because you missed out on some opportunity for love. It's ridiculous. And most of the time you're being told that by people that's miserable anyway. Not all the time, but most of the time. And remember, we don't do shoulds. I have a friend, same friend, who was dating like this fist pumping RBG brother, and that's what she was trying to make it work. God bless her. And he was just immature. I mean, not his own fault, really. He just hadn't lived, And it's different. Living is different than college degrees. You can get all the degrees in the world, but baby, until you've lived life, you don't really know anything, And so she came and told me that she was dating this white dude. And I was like, oh my God, are you serious? And she was just as shocked as I was. God bless her. She was like, I was not looking for this. It caught me off guard. Because see, a lot of people tell you is that, she was looking for him, and or he just want to date only black women because blah blah. That's she heard all that. I know from the inside that that's not what she was going for. But she had to go where she was honored. And I told him, because you honor her, then I will respect the relationship. Because in the beginning, I wasn't happy about it. Apparently, I hid it really well because neither one of them knew, apparently. But I honored it because I wanted her to be loved. What do I look like telling her, girl, if that man love you but he white, don't let him love you, because you need to be lonely and miserable until you find another brother that is fist pumping. And no, because I'm gonna tell you something, as a black woman who was fist pumping and all this stuff, I have been talked to and treated in the nastiest of ways. I mean, I can list you off the names I've been called. I go from fine, queenly sister, whatever, to not feminized lesbian bitch in 2.5 seconds, just because I disagreed. Go where you are honored. Go where you are loved. Do not settle for anything different. I don't care what kind of banner or flag it falls under. Go where you are honored. And I want you to hear me. And this is in any relationship, whether it be friendships or romantic or anything else. Go where you are honored. Go where you will be loved deeply and passionately. Don't miss out because of people's ideals and stuff like that they try to impose on you. Love should feel like freedom. If it don't feel like freedom, it's not love. Okay, so familial love. Yeah, this one is interesting. Okay, so when we talk about familial love, we'll split it up. So the blood family, it should still feel like freedom. A lot of times you can't get away from your blood family. Sometimes you can. What I found is I had to make some boundaries for myself. I have a family member right now that has mistreated me. She mistreated me really bad. And I said from that point, I will not interact with her. I'm not doing it. Then I got in a situation where I was not driving my own car. And I ended up at her house. So I thought, well, I'm at her house, so I'm try this again. And she did it again. Well, today, my dad was like, oh, well, let's stop by. And I was like, no. And I'd already decided, since I wasn't driving, that, if the car went over there, yeah, I was in the car. I didn't have a way to get out. But I decided I'm not going in there. Family, sometimes we have had these obligations that people tell us that we have towards family. We have to forgive them indefinitely. No matter how they treat us, no matter how they talk to us, no matter how they lie, cheat, steal, molest, rape, abuse. We have to continue to forgive them over and over. That is a lie. Okay? Family is held to the same standard as everybody else. Now, you did choose your family for a reason, in my personal opinion. However, once those lessons are learned, because this particular family member, I learned my lesson. That lesson was a lesson of boundaries. That lesson was a lesson of refusing to be abused. That lesson was a lesson of understanding that elders sometimes are just elders who are here to teach you a lesson. So, familial love, blood ties, okay? Then you have your family that you choose. Sometimes we have family that we choose, meaning our friendships. And sometimes we have to understand that, yes, some friends are there forever, or, what seems like forever. Some friends are there to teach you a lesson. And don't ever be afraid to draw those lines. Because sometimes you go through friends at particular periods in your life and they want you to stay there. They don't want to allow for growth. And again, I hate saying that you have to grow, but you really want to grow. That's how we, some cultures teach us how you escape the will of, reincarnation, is that you have to elevate. I think for your own soul salvation, you want to keep elevating. You want to constantly keep striving. And I always give the example of, let's imagine that you're going to see a play. Well, with every play you have the main characters on the stage when it starts, and then you'll have people walk on. It might be a crowd scene, but eventually the crowd walks off and they change scenes. Or you might have somebody run through, deliver a newspaper, and then they run on off the stage. Well, imagine you go see a play that's like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours long. But every time somebody was supposed to go off the stage, they decided, I'm not going off the stage. I want to stand right here on the stage. I ain't going nowhere. Well, eventually, about, halfway of the play, you have like the entire cast standing on the stage, refusing to leave. You taking up space is not yours. Some people are there through your whole life. Some people are there through 2 or 3 scenes. Some people are there just coming to deliver, the newspaper during a scene, so, a little bit of knowledge. Some people are there, you barely even notice that they're there. Let them be there for how long they're supposed to be there. Don't try to hold on to them past their time. But this is the thing. Release them with love. You don't have to release them in anger. A lot of times where the anger comes in is when we let people overstay their welcome in our lives, or when we overstay our welcome in other people's lives. And then because they've overstayed their welcome, now there's anger involved where there did not have to be anger. So use your intuition. Listen. When things start getting a little janky and it starts feeling a little tight and it starts, and you just keep hanging, but she was there for me when. He was there for me, when this happened. That's true, and give thanks for that. And then release them in love. Because that way later on when you're walking down the street or you're going to the grocery store or something like that and you see them, you can say, hey, this, and y'all can catch up and do it in love. Yeah, I found now that works better. Let them go. And it might end up that they pop up at another time in your life. But it's easier for them to pop up at another time when they are needed and when it's their time, if you let them go when they're supposed to go, or even with you, if you leave when you're supposed to leave. Yes, this also pertains to romantic relationships. Community love. Okay, so what I have found with community love is that it can be challenging. I live in a small, big city. There are people I grew up with here. We don't see eye to eye on everything, but we still are going to cross paths. I try to keep it neutral with them because I do love them in a community kind of way. I love them meaning that I will support their businesses. And I love them meaning that if they need something, I will, do whatever I can to contribute. I love them in the way that I will challenge the things that they say that I don't feel like are productive. I lovingly disagree with them sometimes. Community love means that you understand that we all live here together and we all have to function together. I know this will not be popular. However, even when we have these things going on with the police right now, and it is being aimed at black people. There's no question about that. Absolutely no question. But what I have seen is when you have others, meaning everybody not black, be involved and they speak out against it or they protest against it, I've actually seen and heard people saying, this ain't y'all's problem. This is not y'all's concern. It is. They should be freaking outraged. Not because black people are being assaulted. Yes, because we're being assaulted and murdered and stuff at a higher rate, yeah. But at the same time, anybody with good sense knows that if it starts with us, it's going to end up with them. Now, are they suffering at the same rate? No, not even close. But are they getting mishandled by the police too? Yeah. So, community also looks like you having enough sense to realize that you take help when you need it. You take it in whatever form it comes. You take love in whatever form it comes. I tell people this. I feel like, especially my folk, because I tend to be around other healers and coaches and so, well, coaches and healers, same thing in my opinion. But so we're supposed to listen to our intuition and everything, right? We're supposed to listen to spirit every time we make a decision or make a move or, heal somebody or whatever. So shouldn't we use our intuition on a case-by-case basis? Like when you feel good about somebody, just feel good about them. You don't have to say, well, I felt good about him, but he white. I felt good about her, but she's Spanish. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. I feel like a lot of times we miss out on things because we're trying to hold on to these preconceived notions that just are not working. They never have worked. And this is coming from a born and raised Southern woman. Now, am I still apprehensive about white folks? Yes. Because I was born and raised in the South. From as far back as I can remember, I have been followed through stores. I have been accused of things that I didn't do. I've had my little white friend when I was little. She could go in there and rob the store blind, which she did, but they were too busy watching me. They might be watching one to go with me. I don't know. But what I have learned as a healer is to get to know people on a case-by-case basis. And I don't care who you are. I mean, you could be black, white, man, woman, cat, dog. If I don't feel good about you, I'm not fooling with you. If I feel good about you, I'm a fool with you. Because that's part of our responsibility. The other thing that I find interesting is when we talk about being the mothers and fathers of this earth as African people, as, if you call yourself African, African American, black, whatever other names we, because I believe in trying to honor the names people want to be called. If we are the mothers and fathers of this planet, and everybody else, will be viewed as our children, is it our job to teach them? Once we heal ourselves, so once you've gotten to the point where you feel like you're sufficiently healed to be able to teach others, isn't it your job to heal others? Now, the reason that it would benefit you is because once people are healed, then they stop destroying crap. Now, I'm not saying go out here and try to, find Jim Bob in the backwoods with the Confederate flag on his truck and say, I'm here to heal you. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if somebody come across your path and they're asking you genuine questions and they're in need of healing and you have sufficiently healed yourself, it will behoove you to teach and to heal that person. Why? Because then there's one less person to be up against you. There's one less person that you have to fight. And don't worry about them stealing stuff that we do. The fact of the matter, I learned this the other day. You can't be me. Okay? They can't steal the things that we do. They can't steal our ancient traditions. They've been trying that mess forever. You put on a dashiki and calling yourself a babalawo does not make you a babalawo when you look like an old white Jewish man. You can't steal what I do. I had one of my own sisters calling herself gonna do that the other day. I'm gonna tell you why people can't steal what you do. Because just like with this self-love journey, I had to earn this. Blood, sweat, and tears. I had to go through this journey. You can't listen to a video that I do and then turn around and start doing it. You're only giving a fraction. Because I can only give a fraction. For me to do a video on my whole journey with this, it would take hours. So don't be afraid that they're going to steal our stuff. That they're going to steal our traditions. The truth of it is half of the stuff is published in books now anyway. If they really want it, it's going to be done. My thing is, let me go ahead and heal you. It's no different than somebody having a cold. Let me go ahead and heal you so that I don't catch it. Because if I get you healed, I ain't got to deal with it. I know that's not going to be popular, but whatever. That's where I'm at with it. For me, I feel like love conquers everything, literally. I believe in love. If I worship something other than nature, it's love. Do I feel like I need to go up and be hugging these dirty cops? No. But if I ever had an opportunity to have a conversation, yeah, we finna dig in and figure out why you feel like you feel like what you're doing is okay. Yeah, we're gonna dig in and have that conversation, but it's not gonna be from a place of being argumentative. Why? Because me arguing at you and dealing from a place of anger, you can't hear me and I can't hear you. I'm trying to protect my children. Now, for the revolution, you know, that people talk about, everybody has a different part. Mine is love. Take it, leave it. You know, it's your little red wagon. You can push, pull, or drag it. That's my part of it. That's what I'm here to do. That's what I'm here to teach. That's my superpower. That's what I'm here to change. Now, for the last thing, love in the face of hate. Sometimes love in the face of hate means you have to walk away from relationships. Sometimes love in the face of hate means that you have to pick up arms and defend yourself. I don't love anybody so much I'm gonna let you kill me. I don't love anybody so much I'm gonna let you kill mine. Like I said about this situation that happened, something that happened in Baltimore, I don't love anybody enough to sacrifice my son. I wouldn't just willingly do it. You can say what you want to, but I don't really see me saying, yeah, go fight for these people who half the time I found have not fought for me. Now, that boy got a warrior in him. I already know that because he came from me, so I know him. And I know that my son will probably be the first one flying to the front line. And guess what? I would support him in it. But I would not push him and say, hey, go give yourself a... No, I wouldn't do that. One, because my path is different. But because I love him, and love looks like freedom, and love feels like freedom, I will support him. Because I know that I bore a warrior. But would I willingly say, oh yeah, go out there, get on the front? No. No, I wouldn't willingly say it, but I wouldn't fight against it. And if I knew that that's what he wanted to do, I would make sure that he was equipped mentally, physically, and spiritually to do what he needed to do. But love in the face of hate also looks like, sometimes it looks like walking away. It can look like defending yourself. It can look like loving somebody through it. It could look like teaching. It could look like different people having to do different legs of the race, to heal. Because the thing is that I hear people always talking about burn down Babylon, meaning America. Excuse me, my computer's about to die. I hear people say that all the time, and really at the end of the day, we still live here. And you're talking about burning down something, a place where you live. So, I don't know. But this is just my input. I wanted to share this with y'all. Chime in, let me know what you think. You might want to do a response video because this is almost 40 minutes, y'all. I'm not sorry. I needed to share this, if nothing else, to get you thinking. Okay? So I love y'all in whatever way we need to connect and be loving on each other. I hope that I know this is gonna change you. If it doesn't change you, I know it'll challenge you. And even when it challenges you, it will change you because it's gonna bring something to for you to consider. So anyway, again, I hope this full moon finds you full of love. I hope it finds all of your dreams manifested. I hope it finds you blissful and abundant. I pray that you have all good things in life. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate y'all. I see you and I love you. Odabo.